Hello everyone, welcome back to another Press House Student Spotlight. I'm so glad that you are joining us here today, and I'm also so glad to be joined by EJ, who's sitting in the chair here. And so I'll let EJ take it away with some introductions. Tell us your name, your pronouns, where you're from, and then tell us a little bit about your college-related info too.
Hi everyone, my name's EJ, or short for Emily Johnson. My pronouns are she, her, they. I'm from Wausau, Wisconsin, and I'm a junior studying environmental studies and history.
So I know sometimes for people who grow up in Wisconsin like you, can be kind of a tough decision whether to stay in state or go out of state. And so what made you decide that UW was the place that you wanted to go to school?
Yeah, so I was undecided as a high school student, and I wanted to do so many things, which I still struggle with, but I am working to improve that. So UW-Madison had the most variety of majors, which I really liked. Like my big things were like I wanted to do art, but I also wanted to do the environment stuff. So I was kind of tossed between those two things. So I had opportunities for that, and it was also a great school, great academics. Also my best friend was going to be coming here, so we got to be roommates our first year, which was really awesome. And I would recommend that if you have a good relationship with a person who is going to UW-Madison to room with them, because it's nice to like go home after class and like debrief with your like best friend and just like have ways to like hang out with them like regularly.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad that that sort of helped you have a easy on-ramp into college life.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned that you are someone who is interested in many things, which I think is an understatement. Like you have perhaps the most eclectic set of interests of anyone that I've ever met here. So how did you decide on your degrees?
Yeah, so environmental studies was kind of like a no-brainer. I was always been interested in sustainability. It's kind of like in high school I was a huge advocate for it. I made some protests and like I did a documentary, which was cool, but I just never officially like put it as a degree, and then I learned about it and I was like, oh, I should probably put that as my degree, but then you had to double major with that. So I was originally a communication arts major or film major, and I realized even though like it might be like light work, I didn't want to watch movies and analyze them like all the time. So I decided to switch it to history because I really love history. So I'd rather learn about information that I'm really interested about than just like analyzing stuff that I'm not as interested in.
Since you've been here at UW, what has been maybe one of your most memorable experiences as a UW-Madison student?
Yeah, so lots of things, Press House of course, but probably something more UW-Madison related is I did a week-long study abroad trip to Puerto Rico to learn about mangrove and sand dune restoration my freshman year. Recommend that trip if anybody is interested in doing it. Not only was it like a fun experience because I got to like try mofongo and like learn about how terrible a dead mangrove smells. Like it reeks of rotten eggs. Very much prepare yourself for that. But I saw how like ecological restoration and community service are like powerful actions to fight against not only climate change but more importantly colonialism. So it was like really empowering to see how like Puerto Ricans were working to stop Western imperial powers and taking back their island through like doing their own ecological restoration and community work.
Yeah, that's really beautiful. And I know how important that trip was for you. You talk about it all the time. When we took a trip at Press House, Break with a Purpose trip to Puerto Rico, and EJ unfortunately couldn't go. But she was definitely texting us like, have you tried mofongo yet? Have you tried mofongo yet?
Yeah.
And we did, and it is as delicious as you said it was.
No, it's pretty good, and like one of the people said before the trip I went on it, it fills you up very much.
It does.
So do not go like swimming or like have any like extreme exercises afterward. It's like a solid like Thanksgiving meal.
Yeah,
So
just eat it and take a nap. Well, let's shift gears here a little bit and talk about Press House. So you've been here for a couple of years now, but you are one of the very first students I ever had in a freshman connection. And so I would love for you to share sort of how you came to Press House. What brought you here?
So, before I like came to Madison, I was like thinking about I wanted to try to find a church that was like LGBTQIA plus inclusive, because I was a part of like a Presbyterian church at home, but they weren't extremely active on like saying like justice ideas or like things. They were very like, we want to make everybody happy, and if they did, it's usually for like conservative people, which I personally was not happy with, because I didn't feel like the things that they were preaching were really for justice, and it made me feel like insecure a lot of the time, questioning like what it means to be a Christian, especially because the history is so intertwined with like colonialism and injustice that I wanted to find something that was different. So I Googled LGBTQ plus churches in Madison and Press House was one of them. So what happened was like my first Sunday when I moved to Madison, I walked down State Street and it was like 4:25 and I didn't know if I wanted to go or not, and it was like now more like 4:32 and I like, okay, I'll do it. So like I turned around and I went to the church, and Shania said, hello, welcome to Press House, and I was like, oh my gosh, hi, but I wasn't like that. I was more like, okay, hello. Like I wasn't that happy at first. So eventually it was just like I just kind of kept coming to Press House. It was just like, I know some people here, I'll just keep coming to Press House. So I just kept doing that. And eventually I just started, especially like after like the third semester or my first semester as a sophomore, I really started to like have a community here. So I just like kept coming here, and now I basically come here like all the time, especially every Sunday. So yeah.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. You're one of the people who I can typically count on if I go downstairs to see like who's hanging out, who's studying, who's causing trouble. EJ is probably down there doing one of those things.
Yep, that's true.
And now that you've been here at Press House for some time, I'm curious, like, what is one of your most memorable Press House experiences?
Any kind of event where we have like community around, I love going to those, especially like our retreats are like the best time to really get to do those things. But I think some of my favorite are like the continuous moments of us having really heated debates about really dumb issues are like the funniest thing. So like such as whether leggings are pants or if a straw has one or two holes. It is funniest thing where we like have literal like hours of conversation with a very detailed whiteboard about why this thing is the one way it is, and friendships are broken. It's a pretty intense time, so those are good things.
All right, so since you mentioned it, let's hear it because it remains unresolved. Does a straw, like how many holes does a straw have?
One.
A straw has one hole. You heard it here from EJ. If you disagree, EJ said it, not me. So, as you know, one of our mottos here at Press House is bring all of who you are. In fact, I know that you know this because, fun fact about EJ has become our official Press House sticker maker. So I'm holding EJ's water bottle, which is covered with stickers, but you can see this one that EJ made for this year. It's for the communion table. It says, all are welcome at God's table. There's a custom one she made of me, street biker. This is the coolest sticker anyone has ever made of me in my entire life, and that will remain true until the day I die. So I know that you are familiar with the Press House motto, bring all of who you are, because you've put it on a sticker. Mm-hmm. But I'm curious, how have you seen that motto in action here at Press House?
Yeah, so I love how like no matter who you are at when you come to Press House, is that even if you desire to like not be a Christian or like are not religious at all, you're still welcome here with open arms, which I really like. So like I kind of said before, I came from like a very different kind of church setting. I was kind of uncertain whether or not I wanted to be religious, and I was struggling with that. So when I came here with like questions or comments about stuff, what I really loved is like talking with you and Erica, that you didn't really put on me like an agenda of sorts. Like some people, especially like religious people, when they come up to you, they're trying to like persuade you to be Christian, whereas you're more so like, let's think about that together. And like, if I ask for your opinion, you give your opinion, you don't like start pushing it on me. So I really enjoy that. So I really could like just like be who I am, and everybody else can be who they are too. So.
And let's stick on the Press House thread for a moment. And you mentioned sort of conversations and questions about faith. And one of our goals here at Press House is to help students develop a deeper and more mature faith. And you've already kind of spoken to it a little bit, but tell me a little more about how your faith has maybe deepened, grown more mature, and how Press House has been a part of that journey for you.
Yeah, so last year I was on council, so we were required to read the book called Inspired, which is a great book, 10 out of 10 by Rachel Evans. So to anyone who's struggling with their faith, because especially for me, like close ties with oppression, this is a great book for you. So each chapter kind of breaks down a different story of the Bible, particularly those that have been used to justify like acts of violence. So this book like gave me new ways to see the Bible. One of my personal favorite breakdowns was the story of Israel. So Jacob is in the story. So Jacob was wrestling with an invisible person, and then it's later revealed that that person was God. And then after that, Jacob was renamed to Israel, which literally translates to he who wrestles with God. And that really just blew my mind, knowing that the literal definition of the Holy Land is somebody who struggles with faith. And it was something that like, to be a follower of God, you were basically meant to question God. Like, it's really hard to be a Christian, and God acknowledges that, and I really appreciate like knowing those kinds of things.
If you were to sit down with someone who was interested in joining a faith community or spiritual community in college, thinking about your journey here to UW and how you arrived at Press House, your current involvement at Press House, what advice would you offer that person?
So I would probably tell them first, it's going to take time. So like starting any new chapter in life, it's going to be a bit until you find a community. So I said before, when I first came here, I didn't really feel comfortable a lot of the time. My perspectives of the Christian faith were like founded on the idea that you should follow and love Jesus. But they never really meant what that said. They just said follow Jesus. But they never really said like what that meant. So as I came more and more to the services, I started to see a whole new faith. So Jesus was this radical person who ate with the oppressors and the outcasts, and his kingdom was meant freedom from injustice, where everyone could express themselves and love each other. So when I say that I'm a Christian is not just somebody who just believes in the Holy Trinity. A Christian is someone who actively works to undo acts of oppression.
That's beautiful. That's a definition I will happily repeat.
It's awesome.
All right, my friend, are you ready for some rapid fire questions?
Yep.
Okay, so take this sack away. And you get to choose a number between 1 and 4.
Go 3.
3. 3 it is. Here we go.
I worked at a Sawmill Adventure Park, which was a trampoline and mini golf course.
I want to ask so many follow-up questions, but that's not how rapid fire questions work. Okay.
Probably my best friend, Sydney. Shout out to Sydney. French toast.
We can still be friends. Okay.
I would live actually I'd probably live like in like the Highlands of Scotland. I think that'd be fun.
Okay.
probably like different sewing techniques. I need to improve that so much if I want to have a historical wardrobe, and it's hard when you don't know that many people that do that. So I'm working on it, but the goal is coming. It's just taking a while. So
I love how you not only had a thing you wanted to learn more about, but the reason you wanted to learn it was so specific. It's just the most EJ thing. I love it so much.
oh yeah. Recently, whitewater kayaking. I silenced my phone. I would say probably for me, it's gonna be like videos or like things that I've seen a lot of times that have previously made me laugh. So the best thing I can think of would probably be like Surf's Up. That movie is spectacular in every way, shape, and form, and the jokes are hilarious. So
Rock on.
yeah. I could probably win Let's Make a Deal.
A throwback choice. Okay.
It's still on.
Is it?
Yes.
Wow, I feel old.
Bro. It's at 2 to 3 on CBS. I think it's really inspiring to see people who are getting like different initiatives done and like seeing the progress in that form. And there's so many people, I think, especially in my generation, that I really want to see change, are going to try and make that happen. I think that's like super cool. I mean, I'm personally hopeful. I don't want to be pessimistic, because if you're pessimistic, then you're sad all the time. So I'd rather, like, even if they said like everything's gone, don't worry about it, we're all gonna die, like, I think I'm still gonna try and make change, because it's just then like, well, what's the point then? Might as well try. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I think that's a perfect note to end on.
Awesome.
Thanks for sitting down with me, EJ.
You're welcome.
And thanks to everyone out there for watching. We'll see you soon for the next Student Spotlight. Peace.